Hi, folks. This is Celia Hamilton. I'm the Strategic Planning Manager for SocialBizUserGroup.org. And with me today is Matt Newman, otherwise known as the man in the yellow suit. Matt is Director of Education at ISW. He's also an IBM champion, the leader of OSLUG, the Australian Lotus User Group, and a social evangelist. How are you, Matt? Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me, Celia. It's great to be on.
Excellent. So this month on Social Biz User Group, we're talking about how to get your users to adopt the social business tools that you've worked so hard to deploy. But is there something that people can do before deployment to get started on the right foot with their users? I guess what I mean to ask is, what's one of the most common things that a company overlooks when implementing a social business plan when it comes to user adoption?
Okay, in my experience, what we've found is a lot of companies don't tend to view their social business environment as a cohesive ecosystem. What they tend to do is to view the product as a group of individual tools that all have a purpose. So what they tend to do is look at the tools from the point of view that an individual tool does a job, rather than saying that a social business toolkit or framework, such as IBM Connections, is actually a suite of products that when you tie them together actually provide business value as an ecosystem rather than as an individual tool set.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And it would be less overwhelming, I would think, to users, too, to think of it as one platform instead of several little tools that they have to then learn how to do.
Absolutely. So if you consider something like your activity stream, you've got information coming into your activity stream or your status updates or your notifications from a number of different areas within the product set. And each of those areas within the product actually provides a different value proposition. So trying to convince people that one individual product can be used a certain way or can be used to solve a certain business, provide a business outcome, rather than just looking at it as a feature set, is one of the things that I've been involved a lot with consulting with companies to actually expose the value that the entire framework provides.
And you're known, among other things, for your user blast session at Connect, where you talk about customizing the notes experience for your users so that it's easier for them to realize its full potential. So how important is something like customization in user adoption, and where does an admin know what to customize and what to use out of the box?
Oh, Celia, that's a fantastic question and one that's obviously dear to my heart.
Right.
One of the great things about Notes is IBM give you a base set of tools, and then they also provide or wrap that up in this fantastic Eclipse framework, which can be so easily extended with a few widgets and plugins. Now, most admins don't have a problem when it comes to deploying a couple of widgets, because essentially a lot of widgets are just little websites that you can plug into your sidebar, or have pop up for a user in a new tab linked together with some live text and an action. But when it comes to fully extending the Notes client with plugins, that's where we're actually seeing a lot of pushback from administrators. They're very hesitant to deploy plugins within their organization. And if you have a look at some of the plugins that are available, I mean, there are now literally hundreds of plugins available on OpenNTF, and some of them provide exceptional value within the Notes client experience. And obviously, a lot of companies are actually developing their own plugins so that they can talk to their own systems. Those are the features that provide real value within the Notes framework and allow the Notes client to be exposed to something as more than just another email program.
Mm-hmm. And end users fear change. It's sort of a fact. A lot of times they start out thinking that whatever software or tool that they're being trained on is destined to fail, so why even try? So can you give us a couple of tips that we can use to get better adoption of tools, social tools specifically, so that that end users will have better success, and then admins will also have success with all those tools that they put all their sweat and tears into?
Okay, so the key thing really when it comes to user adoption is that very old adage, content is king.
Mm.
One of the things that we found very successful in especially social rollouts is actually getting together a pilot group from a certain area of your business, for example, your internal communications team or your marketing team or your sales team, that actually populate your social business environment with some really valuable content. So what that then does is when your users start to arrive in the system, there's actually something there for them to consume and even contribute to and discuss. And they start seeing the value of their social framework because they're not just looking at, wow, here's a whole heap of tools, but what do I use them for because I don't really understand how they all work. By putting some content in there initially, especially with that pilot or demo test group, we've had a couple of really good outcomes where we've had, for example, a communications team who previously went and sent out all of their email messages and PDFs informing the business what was happening, using tools like blogs and wikis, status updates and forums, which actually drive the users to provide feedback within the system, which helps drive adoption.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's a very good point. That allowing people to give feedback, uh, it will drive user adoption because if there's something people like to do, it it is either comment or complain. So that's excellent. Those are the questions I have. I want to thank you for waking up so early to record this interview with me. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for having me.
And then for our listeners, don't forget to check out socialbizug.org. It's the community formerly known as lotususergroup.org, and it's the first public community built entirely on Connections, Domino, and XPages technologies. Registration and membership is completely free. This month, being June 2013, we have a blog contest going. If you post a tip for your fellow admins or developers, you get entered into a drawing to win a $100 American Express gift card. So visit the site to check it out. Thank you.